Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Well, in continuation to our series of talk in regards to intrusive thoughts, transient thoughts, OCD, HOCD, and negative thoughts, today we're going to be discussing a little bit more about why is it that these images and thoughts linger, and what are the mechanisms, and to focus on the natural automatic protective systems that we have within us, that we need to understand how to be mindful of it and use it to bring about the extra ammunition and the warriors that we have within us to protect ourselves by understanding what the enemy is like. If we understand that there is an enemy, that thought is not you, you're not thought, you're not your brain, brain is not you. If you understand that these are intrusive thoughts, and you rely on your inner wisdom to how to recognize the enemy and call the enemy for what it is, then we have a far superior chance to faster remedy this and get on with our regular and normal life, in control as we always been. So, in search of the truth of you, you got to focus on the truth of you. And the truth of you is automatically there. You just have to become mindful of it, because sometimes all these thoughts, intrusive thoughts, they cover up what your truth is and make you be bamboozled and think that the thought, the image, has a message, rather than you focusing on, I am the boss here, not the thought, not the message, not the image, not the suggestion. And you have to reestablish that you are the warrior, you are the boss, and you are in control of choosing what is suggested. So let's get on to this, and perhaps we will be able to enjoy this bit and be more familiar with where our powers are and who we really are in relation to these intrusive thoughts. So I have written stuff here that since I'm not sure if I can remember what I write, hence old age, but but sometimes I may be in the zone and think of something, so I quickly jot it down, then I don't remember how to start. So I'm going to read off my stuff and discuss it with you. Together we'll explore it. And you also work inwardly. When I talk about things, don't just rely on what I said. Just work inwardly and feel it. Understand what I'm saying, because that is where the effect of it will be real to you, because you are with me exploring it together. So, as long as you can create an image, then that is not an actuality, and that is not a reality. Because actuality does not have an image. It's actual. You don't have an image. So if you create an image, that already tells you that's not a reality. When something is fun and fantasy, it decimates after you imagined it and you're done with it. But when something is terrible, negative, or concerning, then the image lingers. Why? Because the fun thing, you created it. You caused it to be made from your own consciousness. You willed it. Therefore, you have it for a purpose, and it serves its purpose. Therefore, you are in control of it, and you're also in control of decimating it. When you create it, you were in control of creation. And when you're done with it, you're still in control of having it vanish. Whatever is from you, purposely created by you, or thought of by you, you have control on it. And so you can start it and end it at your will. But whatever is not consciously created by you is not you, and you have no control on it, and whatever you have no control on it is of course not you. So if you look at it this way, you can be clear what is of you, what is not of you. It's something that you have control of starting it and ending it. Well, you're creating it for fun or whatever reason. But if it's something that popped up, you had no control in it showing up, then, and you can't shut it down, so obviously you're not in control of it. And if you're not in control of it, that means it's not of you. Because if it was of you, you could do whatever you want with it. Stop it, start it. So either if you cannot start it or you cannot stop it, obviously you have no control on it, and what you have no control on it is not you. Like, what other inappropriate things other people do outside in your life? You meet people doing inappropriate things. You cannot stop them from doing whatever it is that they're doing because you have no control over them, and because they're not you and you are not them. Same thing with thoughts. Just like the people outside of you, there's no control on them. You're not them, so you can't control them, which means you're not them, they're not you. This is the same when you have intrusive thoughts, and since they're not you, you have no control on them. That is why they're not easily stopped by your command. And that simply reinforces your understanding that you're not your thoughts and you are not your brain. Hence, these images and thoughts are separate from you and are not you. Now, is there a simpler way to understand this? Yes. You see, because in the pleasant one, there is no fear. The image that was pleasant, the image you created, there is no fear. And when there is no fear, nothing is heightened. And when something is not a concern, then it is not focused on to be monitored or monitor its movements. For there is no danger reported by the defensive or the alarm system. The pleasant image are enjoyed and released, but when the image brings fear, then all the systems of fight and flight and protective systems are alarmed and are on guard. Because that's their job. When something feels danger, they become heightened and they become focused, and that means projector lights are turned on him, on the matter, whatever it is, and it's focused, they're all focused on the danger to watch its movements. And so we have tightened the circle around the danger, the system, alarm system, fight and flight system. It automatically puts a focus on, which means we have tightened the circle around the danger to watch it. So then when all these are there purposely to watch it, how could it go away? In fact, it's like unconsciously we have put a hidden command that shouldn't go away because we want to watch it. We want to make sure that no danger comes from it toward us. So we're actually monitoring it, for it is the job of our defense system and protective system to have it under surveillance. So the operating factor to keep the image and not let it go and not let it decimate is fear. But fear is not real. It's a reaction to a thought of a concern, which means as long as you feel any danger, that means it is not real and has no actuality to it. For if it was real, then there would be no fear to it. As fear comes from comparing what it was to what may be, which this does not make anything a reality. You see, you may hear a rumor, like let's say you're in a classroom or you're sitting wanting to have an apple. They say nobody can have an apple in the classroom. So you have that fear created that somebody's going to take your apple away. Or let's say you've heard a rumor is going around that somebody's stealing apples. So even though it's not real, but you're designed to react as if it's real because it's a danger. To the brain, real danger or hypothetical danger makes no difference. It acts as if it's real. And when it's all systems are heightened and on guard, it goes full force. That itself stops that anxiety to go away. And when that anxiety doesn't go away, so everything continuously remains, both the emotions and the images and everything, because that is the recognized concern, even though it's not true. So it is the fear that keeps the image. Let go the fear, you will release the image. Of course, naturally, when we are not afraid of something, it becomes something that there is no reason to be concerned about it, to be focused on it, so everything relaxes. And when things relax, everything dissipates as well. As you know, most OCDs or any kind of a obsessive condition, it triggers when there is a tension of some kind, concern of some kind. So when the concerns are relaxed and you change the venue that this thing is, whatever it is a rumor, and you reinforce that to yourself, become mindful of it, that this is a rumor and it's not true, and therefore you relax, and when you relax, then it has a chance for the image to dissipate. So watch images as they pop up without fear, as they are images and not reality or actuality. They're not happening, they will never happen, as you are the boss and you decide what can have reality and what cannot. Just because something popped up doesn't have an actuality or doesn't turn into reality. You're the boss. You decide what can or cannot have reality or actuality. As these images are presented in the screen of your theater, your head, so you have the power to decide what can be created in actuality and what cannot, as on their own, they're just images and in no existence whatsoever. And the problem is that the brain doesn't understand images and reality, the difference of it. That's why it goes nuts, thinks the image is reality. But we know that image on its own, until there is no action to it, until one doesn't choose it, can never become anything. So it is all based on the boss's decision. So you're always in control. They're even less than a drawing, as drawing at least has a paper that their drawing is drawn on it. But these images do not have a shred of tangible base to them. So you are the decision maker, and on their own, these images have zero substance whatsoever. So what is holding them in place is the grip of fear, which commands them to remain formed. So they can be watched, just like when you have a criminal in jail and you keep the jail lit so guards can watch the criminal, but when they are of no threat, like other petty criminals, their jail cells are dark and nothing to be concerned about. So when you have all these attention on them and you feel a danger of certain kind of whatever it is being held in the cell, so naturally the lights are on, focus is on it. But when there's a petty criminal, so to speak, there's no fuss about it, and the jail cell is dark and nothing is visible, like nothing there. So when we understand the role of fear and how it works on our senses, then we begin to understand that fear is not reality, fear is not real itself, as it is created by comparing what it was to a threat. And then we react to it as brain does not understand what is real and what is not, and reacts pretty much in the same manner in the emotion department. Because the emotions are felt as a thought and images are formed. At that moment, then the emotion is felt, which makes us think that since the emotion, fear, is real, then the image or the thought can also become real, which is a downfall of the brain and the roots of this problem, which keeps the images remain and not fall apart and decimate. You have to remember that you're the boss, the ultimate boss, and nothing can ever happen to you. Nothing can ever happen with you on any front, let alone gender and sexual inclination, ever, as you are the decision maker and not any thought or suggestions by people out there or intrusions from the brain, thought, or images as they are on their own, nothing whatsoever. Your superconsciousness will automatically monitor and protect you from all actions or possibilities to your advantage, based on your values and how your life is preferred by you, and your true self as it has always been. And these intrusive, obscene suggestions are just that, and they can never take any reality to them, as you are and will always be the ultimate boss of you and your life. Not any thought, not the brain. You. Always remember that. You have the final word on anything that goes into your life. Like if you're a producer of a movie or a play and millions of artwork and scripts are submitted to your office, but none of them on their own can ever be a movie or part of the set or part of a play or any movie until you make a decision. You make a decision on them, turn any of them or none of them into a production piece, or otherwise, they never can become anything on their own just because they have been submitted. So let go the fear, as nothing in those images or thoughts have any truth to them, and relax the fight and flight system as there are no dangers, and then the spotlights will turn off and security is not necessary for something that does not exist, and the images will pass along and decimate on their own when you put your attention to your regular life. Just remember, all you have to do is to focus on your life as it's always been and as what you prefer, and do whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life, and do not be afraid of the thoughts or images or anything of that sort, so you won't give them attention. When there are no fears, there are no attentions given, the system will not have a mandate to focus on them. It will just recognize their presence, which is the way you're supposed to be, not to be surprised. Expect these malfunctions and glitches happen to our psyche because we're human beings still in development process. We're not completed yet. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, this process started and it's still continuing. We are work in progress. So expect these glitches and malfunctions, as it is part of humanity. Nothing is perfect. Part of everything that is in this world. Nothing in this world is perfect. So therefore, you won't be surprised. You will expect these sort of things, and you won't be bamboozled and panic or anything, because nothing can ever change you. You're always in charge. But you gotta recognize that you're in charge, and you gotta recognize these things for what they are. You must remember to be mindful and be very assertive. When these things show up, images, thoughts, whatever that shows up that it is concerning, bothersome, you call them for what they are. You recognize them as enemy. You must call them for what they are. These are intrusive thoughts. These are OCD, not me. These are brain function, not mine. These are not my choice. I know who I am. I'm mindful of that. And you take a moment and simply let your system enjoy and relax and come back and call them for what they are. You cannot go to a war by thinking, oh, they're friends, I can't kill him. Well, then they kill you, because this is a war. And here, this is a war. You got to recognize the enemy as what it is. Call it for what it is. This is an intrusive thought. This is OCD. This is HOCD. This is not me. Thoughts are not mine. Images are not me. And they don't represent me. And the brain, I'm not the brain. The brain is not me. I am me. I am on top of it all, and I make the decisions. I distinguish what is nonsense, what is not. And I alone know that. You got to be assertive of that. And every time they show up, you got to focus, be mindful. This is intrusive thought. This is OCD. And call them for what they are, recognize them, and then go about your business. And as they constantly come and you constantly recognize them, then the shift becomes automatic again. You know, the shift that had a problem gearing into, okay, problem solved, thoughts and images stopped, and he wasn't doing that. There was a glitch in the system. It will fix by itself when you keep reconditioning it. This is called neuroplasticity. You, by your behavior and your level of attention or not attention, you rewire your neurons. And therefore, after a while, this glitch will fix by itself, and it shows up less and less and less until it doesn't. And if it did, you always know what to do with it. So remember, be assertive. This is a war. You have to protect yourself, and you direct your thoughts to mindfulness, and you recognize the enemy as what they are, call them for what they are, and you go on about your business. Relax, confident, and things will all go back to where it's supposed to be. Perfectly functional, as you've always been and you always will be. Just know your psyche and become the mechanic of your own machine, and your machine will always be maintained properly. And if there's a glitch, you know what to do with it. Have a wonderful evening or day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.